outlier test. In fact, we'll be doing some demonstration on test of normality, and we'll do some work relating to the dummy variable models. Right? So this is the broad thing I wanted to cover in the morning, and in the afternoon we'll have some discussion on time series models, right? So multicollinearity model, we all know, right? It has got multicollinearity has got very serious problem. All the models will have multicollinearity issue, right? In econometrics, this multicollinearity is a very common problem, right? But the degree alone will vary, right? So every regression model will have this problem, right? Cross section or time series, there will always be a problem of multicollinearity, but the degree varies, right? Sometimes it is very high, sometimes it is very low, right? So if it is very high, right, we have to take it seriously. But no, it is not as serious as the other problem we had solved. We have told, right? The other problem means the autocorrelation and heteroscedasticity, right? Because this will not affect the inference in any way. But inference it does has, but it can be easily traced, and it can be solved in a very traditional way. Right? It doesn't require that rigorous treatment as we discussed for the heteroscedasticity and autocorrelation. Right? So we all know what is multicollinearity. Multicollinearity is the problem of correlation found in one or two independent variables, right? So the independent variables are correlated, and that creates problem, right? If it is perfect, as I told you, right, there is a degree of multicollinearity. If it is perfect, then you will have you won't be able to determine the coefficients, right? You won't be able to, actually you cannot estimate the coefficients, right? So that is a serious problem. Otherwise, it will influence the standard errors, right? Okay. Yeah. Right. So this is the coefficient. This is the coefficient beta hat. Beta hat is now estimated as x dash x whole inverse x dash y. Right. So this is the estimation, right? Estimator in the OLS. This x dash x is 0 if the correlation is perfect. If the correlation is perfect, the determinant of x dash x will be 0. If that is 0, right, you won't be able to find the inverse of inverse, right? This x dash x does not exist, and so the beta cannot be determined, right? This is the problem, right? Otherwise, if they are correlated, right, if they are correlated, right, in varying degree, it will influence the standard error, right? Actually, this is the standard error, and this term is very important. Actually, if there is a correlation between two independent variables, here in this case, 3 variable model, so one independent, actually one dependent and 2 independent variables, right? In that case, the standard error depends, right, directly proportional to the correlation measure. This is the correlation, right? This is the correlation, right? If it is high, it will be inflated. The standard error will be inflated for all the variables, actually, for all the coefficients, right? The standard error for all the coefficients will be magnified to the extent of multicollinearity, right? So this is the actually this is the correlation between first and second variable, first and second independent variable, right? We can see, right, both the standard error has got this term, right? So this is the problem, right? So this is the problem, right? Actually, this in fact, can otherwise be called variance inflator, right? Variance inflator, right? VIF, right? Variance inflating factor. 1 by 1 minus R square is the variance inflation factor, right? In fact, this will also help to identify the problem of multicollinearity. And actually, I'll talk to you later, right? So this is one classic case of identifying the multicollinearity problem. So the multicollinearity is really serious if it is perfect. Otherwise, it will inflate the multicollinearity, right? And so if the multicollinearity problem is high, right, when the standard error is inflated, naturally the t value will be reduced, right? It will be underestimated. The t value will be underestimated. Naturally, it will make a lot of coefficients insignificant. It will make a lot of coefficient insignificant. And another problem where you can expect in the presence of multicollinearity is sometimes the sign of the coefficient will be perplexing, right? If the multicollinearity is really a serious problem, it will confuse the sign of the coefficient, right? You would expect some relationship to be positive, right, in all practical sense, but you would get a negative coefficient, right? If it if there is a presence of that unexpected sign, again you can think of the presence of multicollinearity and you can diagnose for it. What are the source? Actually, there are a lot of sources, right? If the data is very small, right? If the sample size is very small, right, you will certain to have multicollinearity problem, because multicollinearity problem is also known as micronumerosity problem. Micronumerosity problem, right? If it is very less, that problem will come. Secondly, some of the variables, some of the models, right? The variables are quite related, right? Unintentionally, we would do this mistake, right? For example, right, if you are running a consumption model, the income and the household size will be directly related sometimes, right? So it's a very common thing. And if you add some lag and lead variables or squared variables, right, that will also lead to this problem, right? If you add some lag variables, right, especially the distributed lag models, right, this problem can be expected, right? Distributed lag model is model with the lagged variables of variables of independent variables, right, will be present in the distributed lag models, right? So in the distributed lag models, this problem can arise, right? Similarly, if you have a quadratic model, right? If you have a quadratic model, right, or a cubic model, you will have polynomial terms of one single variable will also be added, right? In that case also you can expect this multicollinearity problem. So this is it. So these are the two cases, right? So this one is the distributed lag model. This is distributed lag model. This is distributed lag, and this is polynomial model, right? So this is similarly time series also will have this problem, right? Because they all the variables will have the same trend, right? So GDP, capital stock, right? Population, all will have time trend in it. So you will have the problem of multicollinearity. So you have to be very careful when you are dealing with this. So what is the usual test done to understand the multicollinearity problem? Usually we will do zero order correlation matrix, right? Usual correlation matrix can be run, right? Otherwise, partial correlation matrix can also be run, right? And you can see the variance inflation factor, right? Variance inflation factor, right? VAF can be found, and we can do the Farrar-Glober test, and this is a statistical test, right? Which tests you will run every variable, right? Every independent variable on the left out other independent variables. For example, if you have 3 independent variables, Farrar-Glober test says, right, you have to run 3 regressions, right? One regression of x1 on x2 and x3. The other regression of x2 on x1 and x3, and third one x3 on x2 and x1. Right? So you run the regression, and you will take r square value, and afterwards Lagrangian multiplier test will be applied. Right? For each of it, you will run the Lagrangian multiplier test, that is LM test. That LM test really will give you the these are all auxiliary regressions. Main regression is different. You have to run the all combinations of auxiliary regressions, right? If any of the regression, right? If in any of the regression you have significant results, then you can suspect a multicollinearity problem. One good thing about this Farrar-Glober approach is you can identify the source of multicollinearity. Right? In other tests, you will not have the exact source. Right? Where is the multicollinearity problem really arise? Right? It will not be very specific. But in this case, right, you can see the source of the problem. Right? So this Farrar-Glober test really helps you identify the exact source of multicollinearity problem. Right? If in this case, if x1 is found significant, if the Farrar-Glober LM test says the axial regression of x1 is significant, you can say x1 is the main source of multicollinearity problem. Right? So this is how we'll identify. And another thing is, another test is eigenvalue and condition index test. This is a very general test. Right? It will just say there is multicollinearity problem or not. It will not say the exact source. Right? So here, so all these things are available. All these things are available in R. Right? You can find each and every diagnostic statistic using your multicollinearity R package. Right? Fine. How do you solve the problem? Actually, we have multicollinearity problems are usually solved if it is not serious. Right? We can ignore the problem because every other model has got this problem. Right? If it is present, and we can do some works. Actually, if the source is identified as x1, right? If the x1 variable is not so serious, we can just drop it. Right? So this is one way. Another way is that if the relationship between x1 and the other variable is known, you can replace x1 with those variables, right? So in fact, if x1 and x2 is related, if I think x1 is 2 times x2, right? So we can replace this x1 with 2 x2, then the coefficient will readjust, right, according to that relationship. Right? All these things are discussed in your Gujarat. Right? If the relationship is determined, and if it is known, right, that information, a priori information can be used for the estimation of the model, right? So, so this is how the model problem is solved. And if the variables are so many, right, you can use factor analysis to reduce the number of variables, right? If the variables are 10, 20, right, you can run a factor analysis and you can combine them. We all know factor analysis in one sense can be used to reduce the dimensions, right? Reduce the number of variables of larger size into smaller ones, right? So it can be grouped, the variables can be grouped, and you can do the grouping. And you can run those grouped variables into your regression. So in that way, you can solve the multicollinearity problem. And another solution for this problem is pooling of data. You can pool the data, right? Time series and cross section data can be pooled, right? And the problem can be solved, right? Pooling, is one solution for this multicollinearity problem, because pooling increases the size of the sample, right? So this is another way of solving the problem. So now we will try to take one example from Gujarati, and we'll try to work out that example. So this is the model, right? Actually, this is the model we are going to take. Here we are going to take how many variables? Y is the number of people employed, right? The employment as a function of GNP, price inflator, that is cost of production index, and GNP, and right, so many other variables, right? Number of people employed in thousands, right? Number of already, right? So this is the employment, and this is X3. I don't know actually what significant is it. The fourth variable is people employed in armed forces, and people in the age group of 14, right, above 14. So this is the variables included, right? So the first model is run. He has run the first model. Actually, this is the first model, right? R square is very high here, and most of the coefficients are insignificant, right? Most of that 1, 2, right, 3, right? When R square is high, right, we expect all the variables are significant. But in this case, right, you have high R square, but most of the variables are insignificant. We'll run this model, right? We'll run it. We have, I have sent you the data. I hope all of you have the data, right? The data workbook. In the data workbook, you have one sheet known as MLRM, right? MLRM sheet. So this is the data workbook. This is the multicollinearity data sheet, right? This is the multicollinearity worksheet. Okay. Now you have to convert this into a CSV file, right? How do you convert? Save as in the desktop. I am going to save it as MC1, MC1.csv, right? I have saved it. So I have a file, CSV file. Yes. Here I have to do only one thing actually. Here y is no small y, right? I'm going to make it a capital Y, right? So only change that I'm going to do here is capital Y, right? As usual, you have to read this file into your R. How do you read this into R? We are not going to use any code here. We are going to type everything this for this one. I'm going to open R. Okay. It's an exercise now. How do you open or import this file? Data equal to read dot csv. What should you write? Now you write the path. So this is the path. So this is the path. I'm going to write here. I'll make it big, don't worry. I'll give an image, enlarged image I'll show. We already know how to write the path, mc1 dot csv. What is the next argument you have to give? Header equal to true, right? Tr true, bracket close. You are saving that as data. So this is Could you see this? Is it visible? Read.csv, right? This is the first step, right? So now the data is in. Now what do you get? Now you can check it. Data. Now you can check. Could you see this? MC1. Multicollinearity, multicollinearity, multicollinearity. Multicollinearity in data file, in data workbook, you are saving multicollinearity file. What next? What is the next step? You will run a model, regression model, right? So you have y, x1, x2, x3, x4. Y and 5 variables. Have you opened the file? Were you able to open the file? Shall we move? Okay. Now you have to run the regression model. I'll make it bigger. Huh? Okay. So next thing is running the model. How do you run the model? With this many variables, right? Model equal to LM. What is the dependent variable here? Y tilde x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 comma. Today I am going to do one thing more. Let us read that as data 1. Let us actually just keep this data. Okay. Data is equal to data. Instead of attaching, you can attach the file there itself. So it seems it is perfectly multicollinear. Let me remove one. Let me see what we get. There's an error coming. I'm just going to use ChatGPT for this. Okay. பிரச்சனை இல்லை. Kamaraj. Okay, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's not it. Yeah, we had the problem actually. There was some white spaces in between, right? So I'll just send the data again, right? So you may use this. I was actually I was a little careless, right? I should have done the data. Actually, after running the data, I should have come, right? I thought it will not be a problem, right? So fine. Now I'll send the data again, right? I'll send the data again. This MC1 data after cleaning. Actually, I've cleaned the data. Now it is ready for this one. I'll just send it through email. I'll send you the MC data one. Yeah, data is sent. Hey, take this data, MC1. Huh? Now I'll zoom it, okay? X2, X4, X5. I've run the model. I'm going to write the model, summary of model. You can make it data one also. So data. Yes. I'll just copy and enlarge. Yeah. This is the output. This is the output. Right? This is the output I got. Are you getting this? R square is very high, 0.9874. We'll check with this one actually. Of course, they have included one more. We can compare with SPS, sorry, Gujarati. It's completely different. They have included 6 variables. Okay, anyway, let us not compare. Now we can check whether we have multicollinearity problem with this one. First, the first statistics would be in this regard the conditional index. The command for this I'll show. We have a thing called, we have a library, car library. Have we installed yesterday? Car, CAR. Now we can open, and there is a function called VAF. VAF value, library, car. So you have to open the library first. So first thing you have to do is load the library. Library, car. There is a function called VAF. Yeah. VAF model. So I'm going to run this. Now, to report the values, get stuck, it seems. Okay, there's a problem in my computer. So it was not, the control C, control V was not working. So I'm just restarting again. Fine. Anyway, so the model, I'll do it again. I'm going to write the script in Word. From the beginning. Data is equal to read.csv this is the path. equal to 1, 2. Model equal to LM y equal to tilde x1 plus x2 x3 x4 x5 comma data. Then I am writing load library car. Now in that VAF values. VAF is the function model. So print model. VAF values. Okay, we are going to run it. I am going to copy this and paste it in the script. This is the script window. This double quote has to be vertical double quote. So I'll just copy, I'll just select and run. So it has come. The value has come. Variance inflation factor. Right? Anything more than 10, right, will be taken seriously, right? So in this case, except x4, all the remaining is very high, right? So x1, x2, and to an extent, we can have x3 and x5, right? So we can run the regression, right? Actually, the serious problem is lying with 2, 5, and 1. The serious problem is, right? So could you see that? I'll just expand. Did you get this result? So this is the result. Okay. Okay. So we have to order them, right? So more serious is 639, right? Then 339, then 130. It will remove it and we'll run the regression model. Then we'll check. Okay. So we have to run the regression model. LM model 2, model 1 is equal to LM y tilde x x2 x3 plus x4 Model 1. I write the summary of model 1. Yes, both are run, right? Actually, so this is the output I'm getting. I'll paste here. Right? So this is how we'll diagnose, but in fact, some problem is there, right, in the diagnostics, right? Let me check what are the things they have added. You can follow the discussion of this thing in Gujarat, right? They have diagnosed it and they have modified the model accordingly, right? But somehow we have missed, right? Because after diagnostics, the value should not change much. This R squared should not change much, but in our case, it's completely changing, drastically changing. And another thing, we have to check with the theory also, right? You have to check with the theory. Anyway, so this is how we will diagnose the problem of multicollinearity. We'll move on to the next one. We'll break, yeah. Kindly come quick, right? We'll break for the tea.